You guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people.
You know, it's always a delight when we get to see a politician be adept in front of an audience. We're used to now seeing dear Kamala Harris sort of bungling up even chants of her own name in order to institute an embarrassed silence. So when you see like someone like J.D. Vance, who you've been told again and again is a massive weirdo, being normal and sweet on Theo Von, it's heartening. It's also good to see that he's adept enough to tackle the likes of Jake Tapper when they attempt to trip him up. Here is J.D. Vance doing exactly that when it comes to the subject of the Russiagate hoax.
Ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it, and we covered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No.
Well, that's
what you just said is
why.
false. We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost of groceries. He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies, you know, it's interesting. Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that. They wouldn't.
Well, they should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win, and we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story or one guy.
Nothing anonymous.
Brilliant. It's brilliant to see a politician that's smarter than their interlocutor. We're not used to that anymore. Why? Because we've been trained to accept political leaders that are stooges, ciphers, and mere avatars of power. That's why Keir Starmer looks awkward. He's the Prime Minister of my country, England. He's another WEF figure. If a real working class person comes up to him and goes, "Hey, what's going on? Why are you such a little bastard, lad?" That's why Justin Trudeau freaks out if someone says, "What you doing around here?" Like, I don't want to do a Canadian accent. I'm under too much pressure. That's why these people can't cope under pressure, because they are under so much pressure to be mere conduits of sets of powers that you didn't and wouldn't ever vote for, that they can't practice dexterity in the moment. They can't practice spontaneity. Now, I know that there are people on the left, the kind of, I don't know who they work for anymore on the left, the kind of liberal intellectual class that will say, well, what about Peter Thiel? Isn't Peter Thiel interested in the Republican movement? If that's a problem, then we got a problem, because Silicon Valley and big tech have been advocating and propping up the Democrat Party for a long time now. And they're not doing it for nothing. They're doing it to get favorable tax relationships and to participate in the censorship of true information. We know that now. Now, at least with J.D. Vance, who I've met a few times and I believe to be a decent man, I like him. That dude ain't dumb. He ain't dumb. He's come from nothing. He's built up a life, and he can handle a conversation with Jake Tapper. What do you want from people in positions of leadership? For them to sort of like madly and insanely bray at every awkward moment, and they generate enough of those awkward moments because they don't seem capable of being human for even a few seconds. So listen, this is a pretty pivotal moment. But if you look at and listen to Bobby Kennedy, J.D. Vance, you've got to acknowledge that they're sort of a different caliber to sort of Tim Walz, a man he's like Fozzie Bear, or a person sort of permanently trying to impress you with this expression exactly. You know when people do that and fart? That's what I think of with Tim Walz. He's like, "Hey, I'm your mad uncle." Okay, baby, let's stay in public. No second locations, Tim. No second locations. You know, so we're in a moment where if you get someone someone that's eloquent and articulate and able to communicate. I've seen people try and bring him down for that. I've seen Van Jones, a man who I've met and don't really know him, but I've met him and chatted to him, say, oh, you've got to be careful of these people that seem articulate and able to have a conversation with a TV journalist without being all baffled and frightened. You've got to be careful of them. They're duplicitous, folks. Well, I don't know, man. He seems to me like he's pretty capable.
Nothing anonymously sourced.
Or who one guy who was a disgruntled employee.
I told you,
where five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
No, sounds like a normal person. Let's see what Greenwald and Musk and that said about this. A lot of people believe the Trump-Russia hoax still, and they've got no idea that the Steele dossier was a scam funded by the Hillary campaign. That's true. That's been proven. Greenwald said corporate media goons like Jake Tapper insist they never bolstered the Steele dossier, never pushed Trump-Russiagate conspiracies, never said Hunter Biden docs were Russian disinformation. Everyone knows they're lying. They're lying. Just admit it and apologize. We are in a new media environment. The problem is there is misinformation out there, but we don't know who's generating this information. So it's probably best to let people decide for themselves. No doubt on the precipice of this AI revolution, we're likely to have to contend with new forms of propaganda that will be terrifying. So what you don't want is to grant the state and their corporatist partners unlimited powers to control reality. We've got to decide for ourselves. Do you trust yourself or not? Remember the lockdown period. Remember how willingly we were controlled, not because we're idiots. I pray not because we're idiots, but because we wanted to help one another. For a minute, we believed we were participating, remember they told us this, in our own kind of sort of war. A war against germs where we had to protect the vulnerable by taking those medications. Well, there's a lot more genuine information available now since they've stopped having the ability to ubiquitously censor it, I might add. We need adept and capable communicative politicians. They're not going to be perfect. They're going to slip up. They're going to have pasts. They're going to have economic ties. And there's going to be a requirement to make deep institutional and global corporatist changes, and that will not happen unless you have an awakened population. So if you're wondering if your life feels a bit meaningless and purposeless, what you can personally do, you can do something. Focus on your own awakening. Focus on your own corruption. Focus on the way that you've allowed yourself to be tyrannized, perhaps by trauma, perhaps by propaganda, and know that you can awaken, and know that you can participate, and know that no one's coming to save you. Well, maybe someone is coming to save you soon, but you've got to be ready for that salvation by awakening yourself. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, turn on the notification bell and share our content around, because we are out deep in enemy territory and we need your support right now. If we're going to change the world, we can't rely on systems of institutional corruption to deliver that change. And remember, become an awakened wonder. Join me every single week for a live conversation. This week it's with Carl Lentz. Last week it was with my mate Ruslan, and before that it was with Tucker Carlson. I'm going to be talking to prominent Christians about issues that matter, and I want you to join us for those conversations. In the meantime, please stay free. Hey, have you heard of Kalshi? Kalshi is a company that allow you to legally bet on a bunch of things, including the outcome of this election. Now, I don't gamble because I don't agree with gambling, as a matter of fact, for a variety of reasons. But if you're a person who likes gambling and can gamble, Kalshi allows you to gamble on election outcomes. God, it'd be weird if you could influence that and then bet on it. Crazy. With the election being in all our minds, we can put our money where we mouths is. No, we can put our money where our mouths are, and we can bet on not only the outcome of the election, but how Senate's going to roll out and what the proportions are going to be in Congress. Anyway, you could vote for either Kamala or Trump in this election. So if you are a person that does gamble, gamble with Kalshi. Me, I don't gamble. Gambling's not for me, but I'm also not a totalitarian despot, so I believe you should do what you want to do. So you could go to kalshi.com/brand, and the first 500 traders who deposit $100 will get a $20 credit. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.